Normally I would have showed here the text by my teacher, but as I have said in my posts, I have lost some documents, and not exactly all of them, but many of them, much of them is lost. I don't really wanna go into details inside my fucking head what exactly I have lost, because if I start thinking what exactly I have lost, I'm gonna go nuts, I'm gonna need a pill. Get what I mean? I'm not gonna do that myself. Anyways, that's the second SD card slash flash driver that is destroyed for me in this month. I have no idea why this happened, because I didn't touch that card for more than half a year, to be fair. And I don't know, honestly, I don't know what's going on. But I'm trying not to think a lot about it. But anyways, so I had a commentary in my dissertation from my very professional teacher, Andrew Haas, who is a mystic. He asked me, because he didn't like my dissertation, actually he tried his very best not to allow me to do my dissertation. Welcome to planet Earth. The year is 2025. We are in the Western civilization. We live in the UK, and my teacher, he heard that I wanted to do something about God and the pagan God, and he said no. And then Christians are labeled as bad guys, and then we speak about middle-aged ideologies and practices and so on. And the same person, that's what I mean, the same person will have the balls to go inside his class and say that Christians in the Middle Ages were banning people from doing shit. You get what I mean? But at the same time, I walked in his fucking online office, because I had classes when COVID was around, and I asked him, sir, I wanna discuss how Yahweh is actually abused by Zeus today, ontologically speaking. My ex would be proud of me at this point. And I would like to prove it through feministic lens that what we know about a misogynist god actually stems from Greek pagan ideas, because the Western society is built in Greece, because the Western society is Greek society, and who is better to analyze the Western society than a Greek? So that would be good for me to say it. Say why people think that Yahweh is a misogynist, what we have wrong about Yahweh, why Yahweh is actually very much admiring his daughters, because did you hear that? We are his daughters. And he heard it and he said, don't do it, Phedon. And if you're like, what is that? Don't do it, Phedon is a Greek meme. Uri Geller, the very famous Uri Geller, not a Greek obviously, he came to Greece and he hosted a TV show called The Mentalist, and that's about psychic powers obviously, and they were competing in some mind games, for television purposes. Who would be the next Uri Geller, mentalist, like mind game champion? And there was something going on there. I'm not quite sure. I didn't watch the series because I was a baby, 6-7 years old when this was hosted in Greece. But a guy named Phedon, obviously, did something, tried to do something, and Yuri Geller said, don't do it, Phedon. And it just became a meme. It's a meme even 20 years later. So, as I was saying, I wrote my dissertation with my ex. Yeah, I actually skipped some parts of the story from my ex, because my ex is very aggressive. I knew that if I told him exactly what I am planning to do, he would oust me from the degree. And if you're like, Yaga, why you think so? My ex happened to be the guy that actually accepted me in my degree. So if I told him in my perspective, and actually I 4 years later I haven't changed my perspective and my mind about my ex, I think still he would have done this. If I told him, look, brother, I wanna do a dissertation, that actually Andrew knew about that and he actually banned me to do that, and I actually heard from Yahweh to come to you because he said go to the Chinese guy. You are the Chinese guy, obviously, not me. You know, you get what I mean, right? I'm not a guy, I'm not from China, all that crap. So obviously that guy is you. He told me to come to you to do the dissertation, but here is the issue: the dissertation is not about critical religion, because you are a cult over here and you speak only about critical religion. You can't speak about Islam, you can't speak about paganism, you can't speak about Christianity from a Christian lens, from a Muslim lens, from a pagan lens. You speak only about criticality, religion, and all that crap, you know. So I actually don't want to have anything to do with your cult and your occult practices. I just want to do my own crap. Can I do that? So I knew beforehand my ex comes from China. In China they have a very peculiar form of democracy. I'm trying to be very polite here because it's not only my ex who might watch this, it's also other people. I don't want to offend them and come out as insulting. I'm just speaking very polite so to speak about my mind. That's what I mean. So in China they have a very peculiar, a very weird understanding of what democracy stands for. So I knew that if I told this to my ex, the worst case scenario for me would be to go 10 meters underground. The best was to lose my career at the uni, lose my degree, and spoiler alert, actually my ex, once he discovered what I'm doing, he planned with Andrew to take my degree. They destroyed my degree, they gave me a very bad grade that I didn't deserve. My ex dumped me as well, so you can say that I'm very accurate about the Chinese government. It was either physical death or psychological death. Yeah, my ex didn't go to the extreme, he chose psychological death. You can give him this and say that he's like, I don't know, like a little better than the mustache man from Russia. I'm not gonna say Austria, I'm not gonna do that because my ex is a communist, so I'm gonna go with his preferences here. So the mustache man from Georgia is the correct. The mustache man from Russia, yeah, he chose that. My ex is very understanding, and you know, like he has compassion for his neighbor and shit. Okay. I was thinking of actually playing Mario Galaxy after I finish Mario Rabbids. Anyways, so as I said, I had all this weird shit going on in my life. So I actually did the dissertation. The dissertation, it was fucking amazing. And yeah, I say that as its creator, it was actually one of the best things I have written in my life. And they didn't think like that, my ex and my other teacher, my hater, because they, my ex was exing, okay. So my teacher, now the hater that didn't want me to do the dissertation, he actually wrote me a very poetic comment. Unfortunately, I can't show it to you anymore because I have lost the data, but I can say it off of the top of my head. He said that my dissertation was biased towards Christianity, and I was very much like hating on Greek paganism. Side note here, I am an ex-pagan. I am a woman that in the dissertation said that Christians have demonized pagans. I said also in the last chapter that pagans are the people that God calls saints in the Revelation to John, and somehow my teacher managed to distort that and say that I'm actually hating on the pagans. And for some another reason that I don't understand, my ex bought this, even though he read my dissertation. Also, I think I didn't always have the idea that my ex actually like reads what I'm writing. I knew that he's traveling around the universe when he has my prose in front of him, but I didn't know that it was that bad, so that somebody would tell him, look, Helga hates the pagans, and he had read like pagans are saints in the eyes of God. You get what I mean? So even though he read that, he heard my teacher obviously, and he said, yeah, okay, no shit, give her 50 out of 100. That's what happened. Okay. So actually, before I continue, I want to read that out because if you're like, Yaga, what the fuck? Why did your teacher actually say that you hate on the pagans, like the Andrew, right? Why did he say that? I have the same question. Because you know, like I wanted to start this video and say that my teacher was not a very good mystic. He's actually one of the worst mystics I have seen. Like yesterday, I encountered Francesca Stavrakopoulou. She's even worse than Andrew. I didn't expect to go so much under the sea level with mysticism level. Like usually we mystics compete who is the best of us, not who is the worst of us. But as I can see here on the UK, mystics are trying to take the award who is the worst and the most incompetent mystic of them all. And yeah, I can say Francesca is actually worse than my teacher. Anyways, I'm gonna read out to you the last part of my dissertation because that's actually intriguing. As I said, my teachers decided that my prose actually is very anti-pagan and very pro-Christian. You get what I mean? So you're gonna read now, I'm gonna read you, bestie, what I have written, last paragraph of my third chapter of my dissertation titled Why Zeus and Jesus Are Not the Same Person, and the conclusion which aligns with the last paragraph of my third chapter. So, bestie, in the previous chapters we explored how Zeus is considered to be eternal, how he has a law which must be obeyed, and how in many instances resembles Yahweh in terms of personality. We also saw how many commentators give Yahweh the attributes that Zeus has, and vice versa. I don't know if you can see it, bestie. Anyways, I'm reading out to you. You don't have to tire your eyes with this bullshit. You have me here, bestie. Don't worry. So, and how Christianity's God looks like more Zeus than the biblical Yahweh, thus its deity is Yahweh only in name and not in personality. So obviously, until here I want to make myself clear, obviously this prose is probably not pro-Christian because I say that the Christians don't worship the biblical God, they worship something different. So I have no idea how the fuck can this be seen as pro-Christian. I honestly struggle myself here, but as I said, I am not gonna assign anything to my teacher Andrew and my ex Ze, anything, because Andrew is a very incompetent mystic, and Ze, my ex was exing. I'm not gonna say anything. A mustache man from Russia. Okay, so let's continue. So, given the fact that both the New Testament and the Greek pagan texts originated in Greece, as well as there is a good possibility that Baal and Zeus are the same person, the first beast is none other than Zeus in disguise, whom Christians and non-Christians alike for nearly 2,000 years have believed through false teachings given by the false prophets of all three Christian denominations that he is Yahweh, Jesus, the God of the Bible. And if revelation to John is truthful indeed, and thus, the devil and the first beast are the same person, then not only Christians today worship Zeus disguised as Yahweh, but actually the devil himself, but also they are terrorizing everyone else who is not like them, that is non-Christians, like the atheists and the pagans, that Yahweh has forsaken or will forsake them. I've no idea in what theological frame, as my ex would say. My ex can't speak normally like a human person. My ex has to speak eloquently because he has such an inferiority complex about himself. He has to remind us that he studied at Hong Kong a PhD. That's his problem. You get what I mean? So that's why I'm learning here how he would speak. So yeah, if in a theological frame, right, I've no idea how the fuck this could be labeled as pro-Christian or anti-pagan, because I clearly say that Christians worship the devil and the pagans have fake ideas about Yahweh because of the Christians. So I've no idea I've no idea how you can't see that actually I say I defend the pagans and fuck the Christians pretty much. That's very general, that I say it's a generalized comment, but that's exactly what I wrote there. Okay, so let's go in the conclusion. After examining two different traditions which one way or another originated from the same place, the lands where the Greeks lived, and transferred their philosophy and theology, meaning Christianity and Greek paganism, it is very easy to understand that they share similarities, but contrary to the popular belief, or they originate from the same source, that is the Greek pagan religion, the texts are inspired by two different divine beings. The first one is Yahweh, and he happens to say the truth. Why he happens to say the truth? Because this is the conclusion. If you want to see why I say he says the truth, do yourself a favor, read the introduction and 3 other chapters, because I analyzed why. I never say something without explaining myself. I'm not a mystic like that. I explain everything. Okay. So, the other one is Zeus, who is not saying the whole truth about who he is. Exactly, I am analyzing in 3 fucking chapters, an entire introduction in the beginning, why he doesn't say the truth about himself. And I remind everybody, in case you have forgotten, I knew Zeus personally, I'm a mystic, so that's why I write all that crap down, okay? Not only in those who even today believe in him, the pagans, but also into the Christians and non-Christians alike, who through false prophecy believe to this day that he is Yahweh, Jesus their God. What I say here, that the Christians worship the devil, and this is labeled as pro-Christian by my mystic teacher Andrew. Yeah, I know, the brain is braining here. While the idea that Zeus and the biblical figure known as the devil are the same person can be seen as anachronistic and absurd, it can only be seen as such if everyone, Christians and non-Christians alike, view the first beast of the revelation to John as a physical empire consisted by politicians or bankers, and the second beast as a woman whose job is to be a prostitute, all the while believing that the mark of the beast is at the best of times a microchip, a barcode with the number 666 upon it, or the COVID vaccine. You get what I mean? So I'm saying that when Christians say that prostitute women are the beast, or the COVID vaccine, or the number 66, or a barcode, or a microchip, all that is crap and bullshit from Zeus. That's exactly what I'm saying. I've no idea how this all bullshit is labeled as pro-Christian, anti-pagan. Honestly, I struggle here. What if those who support these claims are the second beast, the false prophet? What if the source they are taking this from is the first beast? What if the first beast is a god, their god, and what if this god is a relic of old Zeus of the Greek pagan religion? What if the devil is not whom Christians claim he is, but in reality he has a law, and a very strict one, which binds everyone to be in spiritual slavery, taking every freedom from them? What if the great tribulation prophesied in the Bible and the persecution of the saints is nothing else than criticism of everyone who does not obey this God? What if the oppression of the women, the LGBTQ community, believers of other religious belief systems, or those who chose not to believe anywhere at all, are all the currents of this prophecy? Thus for God they are the saints he is going to save with his own mark, and thus take with him in his second coming and the rapture of his beloved bride Jerusalem. Again, I say here everybody apart from the Christians are actually good people for God, apart from the Christians who are the Antichrist. That's what I'm saying. For some reason still this is labeled as Christian document that is hating on the pagans. This is what my mystic teacher said. That's crazy, okay? What if the whole world for almost 2,000 years only ever knew Zeus and has to know who Yahweh really is, because every time they tried to, they fell upon Zeus? As the revelation to John mentions such a great deception which will take place in the end of times, and the contents of this prophecy matches our findings, because I am a prophet, I didn't include that because, as I said, my ex is a commie. I didn't want to go 10 meters underground because of that, you know. If one has to take something from this dissertation, it's only this. Because my dissertation was a prophecy, it was not a dissertation. I am a prophet. I'm not a student of theology. I was not that. I wasn't. I was chosen to be a prophet by Yahweh when I was 19, and I continued doing this inside my department until they ousted me by saying this document is actually pro-Christian and anti-pagan, and that's what I'm saying, bestie. So, if everyone today lives a spiritual Egypt, working as a slave for Pharaoh, the false prophet, and his gods, Zeus, and those whom he says they are saints, but they are not, then they have to stand their ground and find their promised land with the one who is calling them to freedom, although it won't be easy to do so, exactly like how Moses and the Israelites passed through a period of tribulation, trying to break free from their oppressors, holding on to none else than Yahweh. The situation remains the same as Karl Marx expressed it almost 2 centuries ago. You have nothing to lose but your chains. And that's exactly how I ended it. And my ex read that crap and he said, I can actually show that to you. I am a very bad person, usually. I was a bad girl, I did some bad things. I swear I did it all for funny, meant nothing. It would be funny, it wasn't funny. They ousted me from the uni and I'm crying. My ex was bullshit, he was not speaking with Zeus. But my other teacher Andrew, he was a bad mistake. Yeah, so while the above discussion is very interesting, in a conclusion you are supposed to summarize the findings or answers to research questions you have acquired from previous chapters. Bestie, did you read my dissertation? That's exactly what I did. The problem is you are not a theologian, but I am, and I did it using my mystical voice to do that. You get what I mean? You say I answered questions in other chapters. Yes, I answered all these questions. I answered why Zeus is lying, why Yahweh says the truth, why Zeus pretends to be Yahweh, explained everything about the antiquity and spiritual ontological stuff and the historical facts and some scientific claims about your biology and some things that are explicitly banned in paganism but not supported by science or not banned by Christian documents like the Bible and so on, but they are, and this is backed up by science. I explained all that crap and I sum it up in the end and I explained why Yahweh is not worshipped by Christians today and Zeus is the deity of the Christians, and there is a good reason to speak, to make a case about the pagan Christ today, not because Jesus was a pagan, but because Christians worship Zeus today. And they have become pagans, and the real pagans are more Christians than the Christians have ever been in their lifetime, you know. Did you read my dissertation, Bestie? I don't think so, because your comments show you didn't, or you have a problem with comprehension, and I know that you have, but anyways. So perhaps you want to rewrite the conclusion in a more boring way. No, because I am a prophet, I am a mystic, and you are not. Okay, you're not gonna tell me how I'm gonna do my job, Ze. Okay, thank you. So I wanted to show you a video now. As I said, my teacher said that my dissertation is actually pro-Christian, anti-pagan. Why is it closing all the time? So this is what he said, but as I said, you read it with me, nothing like that. So he made a comment. He said, if Zeus is eternal, omniscient, omnipotent, then why do we have the theogony by Hesiod? That was his question. I told you he's not a very good mystic. He thinks he can get away with bullshit by flipping my own sacred texts on my head as if I don't know that they exist, or as if I have a problem with my understanding of my own culture. And instead of my nationalist ex, who, if somebody said that China caused COVID, I'm gonna say something with much love 3 times. China was the reason of the pandemic. China was the reason for the pandemic. China was the reason for the pandemic. Are you gonna do anything to me, bestie? Because everybody that said this, you showed your claws and your teeth. You bared your teeth to them and you said, no, actually we tried our best. No, we have people suffering. No, you Yife shouldn't say that. You Westerners didn't know. China is responsible for the COVID pandemic. China is responsible for the COVID pandemic. China is responsible for the COVID pandemic. And I don't care if that makes you upset. Because my teacher, your fucking colleague, said to you that I don't know my bullshit about my own culture, that I don't know how to read the Theogony. He said, why do we have the Theogony? And instead of telling him, Andrew, it is her culture. Obviously, she knows something about that book that you don't understand because it's a Greek book. You are from fucking Canada. You can't know better from Ontario and Quebec what they are doing in Athens, bestie. No, you didn't do it, Zeb, because you are a fucking nationalist. That's what I'm saying. And I don't care if this upsets you. That's the fucking truth. The truth hurts sometimes, bestie. Face it like an adult. You are almost 50, okay? And China was the reason everybody was sick during the pandemic because it started in Wuhan and you didn't call us a fucking telephone to tell us, look, we are sick, we need to inform you, close the fucking borders. No, you actually send us your people because you are privileged, okay? You have this privilege because of this age we live in. You think you own the world. You thought that your country gave birth to Asia and you didn't know that my country gave birth to Europe, okay? You didn't know that you are privileged, you are opportunistic personally yourself, and your people came over in my continent and they contaminated our people and they caused the pandemic. And instead of saying these people should never come from the country in here, and that's a terrible mistake, very irresponsible and very heartbreaking for the humankind. Like, it shows that you don't care about other people's health because you say I am sick, I will go to the West. Okay, no problem. I know you are opportunistic. You are you are benefiting yourself with this age that we are about racism and shit, and you are privileged, but you are not white privileged. That's the problem. You get what I mean? Okay. So I'm gonna show you a video, and then I'm gonna start. Today I'm gonna do a very different type of video. So, do you see this? He can't push the branch inside of the fucking door. You get what I mean?
Well, that'll work, won't it?
No, look. He's trying to put it inside. He tries. He didn't try. He quitted. The dog is actually my teacher. That's what I'm explaining. Because he tried to put the fucking branch from inside the door, but the animal, the animal, like, the door was like that, like a vertical door. Yeah, obviously now we are not crabs. We're not going like horizontally inside rooms and shit. But like, the animal thought that a horizontal object can fit in a narrow vertical shaped door, but it can't, and it's an animal. That's why it can't understand that. You get what I mean? So that's exactly my teacher, Andrew. He is an animal. He doesn't understand that he is an animal. And if you are like, Diego, what do you mean? In Greece, when we say animal, zoon, probably, we mean a human, or an animal. It depends how you position the word inside the phrase. That's ancient Greek, but if you say that in modern Greek, they will understand it. A modern Greek, like a Greek that has gone to the high school, junior high school, they know that that's a grammatical rule. So if you want to say this is a human animal, aka a person, that's what it means. It's en logon zone. It's an animal that speaks. That's human in Greek. The animal that speaks in Greek means human. Animal that doesn't have a mind, aka an animal that has only instinct, operates only in instinct, that's allogon zone, like animal without rational thinking. Uh, that's like a dog, a cat, or everything you call animal in English. It's what we call allogon zone in Greek, because allogon zone, like if I be very strict with grammatical rules, means allogon without speech. Zone, yeah, if you say zo in Greek, it means animal, but actually means being. Zoe means life, so it's a living being that doesn't have rational mind, it only has instinct, it only has emotions. Okay, so if I say en logon zone, so this is like a being, a living being, but it has en logon, it's with speech, it's with mind, not only with instinct and emotions, it also has mind and thinking. That's a human in Greek. So not my supervisor, sorry, my teacher, the mystic, he was a zone, a person, not an animal, a person, like an en-logon zone, a person that has mind, critical thinking, that couldn't understand that a person that it is, that's the door of Christ, the narrow door is my dissertation. Like a person who is writing that Christians worship the devil can't in any ways be, that's the wide branch, hating the pagans, because the person is actually hating, that's the narrow door, the Christians, right? You get what I mean? That's the dog there. And my teacher actually had a dog. He had a dog. I think he had a shepherd dog, something like that. I was hearing it barking when we had quarantine sessions with him, lessons. Anyway, so today I'm gonna do a gift to myself, a gift to my ex, a gift to my teacher Andrew, and most importantly to Zeus Almighty, the Almighty God of heavens. Father, don't laugh, please. He's laughing. So, Ze, if you are here, if you wanna still be a good boyfriend because you don't wanna be a good boyfriend, I want you to buy me this phone. What it costs more than £1,000? I don't care. I didn't say I care. I said I want you to be a good boyfriend. Okay. Anyways, so like I'm gonna do a gift to myself in this time. I'm gonna dedicate this video to the devil, to Zeus, the Almighty God, because he attacked me 3 times in my sleep tonight/today. He attacked me 2 times at night and once during the morning, and yeah, that makes sense. So I am gonna do a video, an introduction video, an introduction to paganism, but I'm not gonna initiate anybody here. I'm never gonna do that crap. So I'm gonna I'm gonna do a small video. I don't know how many hours I'm gonna be filming. I will stop when I will be tired, but I'm gonna do a video where I will tell everybody very crucial answers. Like you have a creator here behind the camera, behind the microphone, telling you as she's playing, and let's put that, she's playing Mario, she's telling you Zeus is the devil, and many of you might be why he's the devil, or many of you might be who is Zeus. Like if you say he's the devil, that's okay. Why he's the devil though? Okay, I'm gonna answer all these questions. Why Zeus is eternal? Why he's not married to any Hera? Why he's a very bad deity? Why he's a false deity? Why he's copying my dad? I have answered many of these questions in the past in posts and videos, but I'm gonna do a compilation video. I'm not gonna answer specifically in each question. Whatever comes to my mind, whatever comes into the videos that I'm gonna put in here, I'm gonna do that for the sake of the argument. Whatever we listen to, I'm gonna explain mystically, according to the myth, according to pagan doctrine or biblical doctrine, whatever comes into my place. I'm gonna do that. So that is gonna be the nature of Zeus, how Zeus is the devil, who the fuck is Zeus, who the fuck is the devil. Like if we say Zeus is the devil, why we can understand the nature of the devil through pagan texts and mysticism. I'm gonna do an analysis in all this crap. I'm gonna speak about the Homeric, I'm gonna speak about Hesiod, and I'm gonna do that in short amount of time, probably less than 2 hours. I'm not gonna film for three, I think today. I will see how this will go. I'm gonna let the Spirit of God lead me into this wilderness. So I'm gonna do that, and yeah, let's do this. I'm gonna pick a file and then I'm gonna put the video. You get it? Also, I have chocolate. Plain chocolate. I have some pineapple soft drink Mario Bros cup. I have my fucking coffee. I don't have a water today, but I have like a plain bottle of water, but I'm not quite sure if this is relevant. So yep, let's get started. So the video I have chosen, and I particularly liked it. I listened a little bit, and usually when I hear somebody talking about my culture, they are appropriating my culture. So I am usually very grumpy with that type of shit. But today I thought that this video was actually very nice, and it's actually from a non-Greek, and more power to this channel, I suppose. This creator, or whoever the fuck they are, whatever they identify themselves as. So the name of the crab is the true origins of the Trojan War. Spoiler, it was Zeus, way before Helen. There was more to the story of Troy than simply Paris and Helen. Before the birth of either, Zeus set a plan in motion to bring about the greatest war the world had ever seen. Why? We cannot be entirely sure, but it is likely because he felt threatened by the population of Earth, many of whom were potential threats to his rule. Yeah. So he and the Titaness Themis worked behind the scenes, manipulating mortals and gods alike to engineer an event which would bring these threats to one place, one battlefield. Paris may not have had the autonomy he thought, and Helen may not have been able to resist him. Sources they use in the video is Homer the Iliad, Homer the Odyssey, Virgil the Aeneid, Pseudo Apollodorus, Bibliotheca, Hyginus, Fabulae, Lucian Dialogues, Dialogues of the Gods. Dialogue is a Greek word, dialogos. Euripides Helena, Rawlinson Sexidium Troiae. Okay. So I agree pretty much with everything he said. Very good analysis. So let's do that. Let's start. Let's see what all this crap is about. Let's discuss who the fuck is Zeus, why we say that he's the devil on this channel.
What really started the Trojan War? As the story commonly goes, Paris fell in love with the beautiful Helen, wife of King Menelaus of Sparta. The two eloped back to Troy, and enraged at this act of diplomatic betrayal, Menelaus and his brother, King Agamemnon, assembled an army to raze Troy to the ground. But while Helen may have been the face that launched 1,000 ships, there was a lot more to the story than that. It began on Mount Olympus. Zeus, king of the gods, was terrified of a prophecy that he would be overthrown by his son, as he himself had overthrown his own father, Kronos, and Kronos had overthrown Uranus. He looked down on Earth and saw many of his children, demigods and heroes, as threats to his rule. So, plotting with the titan of fairness no less, Themis, he hatched a plan to bring about the demise of many heroes, the Great Trojan War, where he hoped his own children might die in order to protect himself. The plan...
Don't mind me, I'm eating chocolate. So, I'm gonna read you about Themis. So, Themis is the goddess of justice. She's a titaness, so she is Zeus one. So he plotted with this deity, the titaness. She is the daughter of Uranus and Gaia, aka the sister of Cronus, aka the aunt of Zeus. Themis, σύμφωνα με την ελληνική μυθολογία, according to the Greek mythology, she belonged to the Titans, the children of Gaia and Uranus. She was constituting the human form of physical and moral order, as well as the rituals of the people. The word Themis comes from the ancient Greek verb tithemi, which means this is ordered in power. It's kind of really difficult sometimes to translate from my native language to English, to be fair. So, her father was Uranus. She had brothers. Her father was Uranus and Gaia. Her brothers were Krios, Χρόνος, Υπερίων, Ιαπετός, Ωκεάνος, Τιθής, Φίβη, Μνημοσύνη, Ρέα, Θεία ή Ερυφάεσα. Εκατόγχυρες, ο Βρίαιος, ο Κόπος, ο Γίγης, Κύκλοπες, Άργης, Βρόντις, Τερόπης, Γίγαντες, Μελιάδες, Νύμφες, Ενηνίες, Αλικτό, Μέγερα, τη Συμφώνη, Θεά Αφροδίτη, Τυφώνας, Πίθων, Ουρανός, σύμφωνα με τον Ισίδο. According to Hesiod, it says, all those are the children, the brothers and the sisters that she had. According to Hesiod, Uranus was her brother, not her father. I know that he was, personally speaking, as a Greek, I know that he was her brother, not her father, but it really depends what myth you hear, and the myths point back that all these deities are the to be, they are the ine, they are not like related, they are the same person. But also here it says that one of the siblings she had, the step siblings she had, was Thea Aphrodite. Aphrodite is one of the Olympians. There are some stories that say that she was actually a titaness and she was not actually an Olympian deity, aka not a sister of Zeus, but actually his aunt. We know that she was worshipped in Cyprus. Probably she came from India, or Babylon, and she was inserted into the Greek pantheon. Greeks worshipped Eros, the erotic love, as a deity. They didn't have a goddess for that. That's a later addition. And if you're like, what later addition? Instead of worshipping her for 3,000 years ago, they worshipped her only 2,000 years ago. That makes sense. So yeah, it doesn't really make sense. Like from a modern perspective, it doesn't mean anything, because if you look back to the sources, these eras, these ages, people in Greece worshipped Aphrodite properly, and you don't see any difference. But there are some like regional differences how they saw her in some ancient centuries, aka differences between the age of Homer with the age of the Trojan War, which happened about 5 centuries before Homer. By the way, Homer lived about 3,000 years ago. So what I'm saying here is that people had a difference in how they worshipped Aphrodite 3,500 years ago. Yeah, as I said, irrelevant, nobody cares about that. So children, Μοίρες, Κλωθό, Λάχεσης, Άτροπος. Ώρες, ειρήνη, δίκη, ευνομία, Αστρέα, κατά μία εκδοχή. Some people say Astrea was her daughter, some others say no. Helga, how do you know it is a daughter and not a son? Because when you have a woman, the name ends in E or A. Like my name is Olga, that's obviously green female. Irini, it ends with E. Inoni, for example, that's female name as well in Greek. Usually the male names in Greek are ending in S, but you can always see that in English. Some names are ending in other endings. For example, Isiodos, it ends in S, but you call it Hesiod, you end it in a D. That's completely irrelevant with Greek spelling. His name is Isiodos, it's not Hesiod. But anyways, so she was the goddess of justice. That was what I was gonna say. I can't speak. That's happened to me whenever I am eating chocolate. But anyways, so let's hear again, and I will explain everything.
Army to raise Troy to the ground. But while Helen may have been the face that launched 1,000 ships, there was a lot more to the story than that. It began on Mount Olympus. Zeus, king of the gods, was terrified of a prophecy that he would be overthrown by his son, as he himself had overthrown his own father, Kronos, and Kronos had overthrown Uranus. He looked down on earth and saw many of his children, demigods and heroes, as threats to his rule. So, plotting with the titan of fairness no less, Themis, he hatched a plan to bring about the demise of many heroes, the great Trojan War.
If you wonder what the heck, as I read in the description of the video, and rightfully so, yes, Zeus wanted to destroy the planet Earth many times. He wasn't per se the creator, he's the divine ruler, he's the... I don't know how to describe it. He's not your father. He's not your father. Like in a pagan understanding, yes, he's named Father Zeus. Yes, many people call him Daddy, whatever. He doesn't have this role, to be fair with you. His role is distant. His role is... He's a deity. A deity is not meant to be a daddy. You get what I mean? So that's completely irrelevant with Hebrew scripture, pretty much. It's not the same in any possible direction. But what is interesting, if I can call it like that, is that Zeus has or claims to be the father of all, father of gods, father of humanity. Like this is the title that he has, father. But he's not really a father at the same time, so that's weird, isn't it? Like he claims to be, he doesn't really wanna be named like that. You don't see him like a father, you see him like a distant creator, distant ruler. Helga, what do you mean when you say he's not the creator exactly? When you are in contact with this deity, you are not exactly seeing him as an omnipotent, omniscient, eternal creator, to be fair. You see him like the divine order, pretty much. You see him as the cause of everything. You see him as a sovereign ruler, pretty much. You see him as the source of all justice, morality, moral codes. What else we can say here? If I can use Mario here. Zeus is meant to be a justice ruler, a ruler with an unwritten law, a deity that observes everything, he sees everything, he is the responsible for every outcome of every decision, he observes the universe inside and outside of it. He is everything and nothing in between. But he is not really your father. He is your creator, and he is not even your creator. He is he I don't know how to describe it honestly. Like I feel it, I can't put it in words. I don't know if my dad can help me a little bit with that. Like Yahweh is your creator, but he made you. Okay, he explained it how I can say it. Okay, thank you, Dad. So Yahweh made you personally. That's what he says. So he took. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Dad. Ah, really? Could I? Ah, fuck. I removed the shield. So, what you do with? No, I will go here. Open fire. We'll go here. Hold on a second. I will continue speaking. Um. My father says that he created us personally. We know why he created us, how he created us, when he has left an account behind why he did that. But Zeus hasn't exactly done that. So you know he is your creator, but you don't really you don't have a reverence with him like he is your creator. You probably mostly see him as like a distant entity that someday created you, but you don't have this relationship with him like a father. He's not really your father in paganism. Like, yeah, many people call him, like Sarah is calling Hecate her mother, yeah, but she's not, like she says it. I call her mother, yeah. Hecate puts up with this. I'm trying not to curse here because this is sensitive things. Sarah loves Hecate, and I'm not gonna step in between that, even if I disagree for my personal reasons. You get what I mean? So, Sarah loves her deeply, and Hecate is putting up with that because Hecate isn't really about love. She doesn't operate in this wavelength. Hecate operates in distance and like a government type of like relationship. Like you are the servant, you are the advisor, you are the minister. You aren't exactly her child. She doesn't expect you, and you shouldn't expect her to see you as a son and a daughter. And I can explain this better by saying that for pagans, you go to hell. For primitive pagans, not exactly mystics, because like mysticism is a little bit more like in like traditional pagans have like can have like an understanding of heaven and hell that resembles like a fairy tale, but more like a light pagans, this is how I call them, that believe in reincarnation, and they read Plato, and they do philosophy, not like read tarot. Like a philosopher doesn't read the tarot exactly. They speak with spirits like I did. So in a I will go here. So for a for an like for a primitive pagan, you go to hell. So that's not exactly how a father deity actually works with you. You get what I mean? So it's more like constitutional type of relationship. So It's more like you do correct your job, you are not fired. You do your job wrongly, you get fired. That's how it works for a pagan deity. Um, can I? No, no. I will go. I'll go here. It's a very difficult level. Oops. Oh god, I lost Mario. That's not bad. That's not good. That's not good at all. Fuck, there are many enemies. There are many, many enemies. Fuck, I lost Mario. That's horrible. I lost Mario. Fuck, if I can send this to the abyss. 69. Hold on a second. So no, I didn't wanna fire at that. No, no. Fuck my life. Okay, I'm die. I'm dead. I'm dead. Here, let's take a healing. Okay, I have some healing. I will hide here. Probably. Do you think I might do that? Fuck. Do I think I did it? I think I fucking did it after 2 days. I'm trying to win this level 2 days and I couldn't. Sorry. When you say defeat boss, we're honored to have you join us, Your Royal Highness. May I suggest we return to your castle so we can prepare for our next match? That be peachy. Okay, I did it. Good. Very difficult level. Okay, so I took Princess Peach, but I will continue with my rabbits. Okay. So. Now it says we have to go on this side. Where? A fossilized spiny shell. We must find a way to restore it and then spend the rest of our time trying to avoid it. Okay. Yeah, we have the multiplayer. Yeah, it says I have to go here, but what? Ah, okay. This gate won't budge. We'll need to find another way to the part of, to that part of the garden. Okay. So we opened the new territory here. That's the amiibo. My amiibo is still in the boxes from the movement. It's a new house. Toadette, you found a new 3D model. Check it out at the museum. So we're now entering the spooky trails, which is the Halloween slash the King Boo territory. Yeah, I obviously love it. Hold on a second. Okay, I opened it. If you could smash those blocks, you could visit this deadly industrial hellscape as much as we wanted. So we can't do that because we have, that's the Bowser Kingdom. We have first to go to the spooky King Boo place, and I can't be more happy about it because King Boo is my favorite character. Spooky trails, then it's Bowser. After him it's Bowser. So can you see the pumpkins? Okay, I will put that as a like thumbnail. No. Okay. To get so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I have to be quick. Okay, I did that, and now we go and take. Okay, Royal Rabbit. The rabbits at Peach's castle love Princess Peach so much they made this weapon so that she would always feel close to them. Lucky her. Okay, so let's open. We'll open Battle HQ. Focus attacks on a single enemy to break it down before targeting another. Yeah, I agree with that. So we'll see a little bit the story and then I will go back to what I was explaining. Spooky Trails, a place deserving of its name. I see no sign of Bowser Jr. Spawny. They could be anywhere. Okay, we have a message. Perhaps our mysterious benefactor has the answers we seek. From questions. Congrats on finding Spooky Trails. Isn't it great? Check out the gate in front of you. Our guardian angel is good. Behind the moon gate is the cure for the plague that's ravaged the Mushroom Kingdom for so long. The champion that has long been asleep will awaken and set things right. The person that this comes from is question mark. So, like, it's not actually the benefactor they have, it's actually another person. But to get to him, you'll need to find the two lost relics of goodness. Find the relics and the champion, and Mr. Tom Fan shall awake and sing with joy at having you before him. Oh, that sounds nice. Well, we don't have many clues, but at least we have a plan. Let's find these relics, shall we? Looking for Tom Fan, and actually it's deception. It's very obvious that it is deception, actually, isn't it? Because it looks like somebody is faking to be. This person that helps them. Okay, so I need a little bit more to buy for the other rabbits. We need more money, that is. Can I upgrade? Do I have diamonds before I continue with the videos? Yep. Okay, I have upgraded the best that I could with these characters. I don't have enough, but the game doesn't provide you with much, so you do what you have to do, I suppose. My Mario character is up to date with the best equipment. Only a very powerful enchantment could keep a bow tethered to a specific location like that. We'd best be careful. I love bows. Two pedestals, both empty, and two lost relics of goodness to recover. They must be related somehow. Yep, same thing. Okay, we have a battle here. So, as I was saying, there are many stories of Zeus, like creating you, like having a creation story is very important for the pagans, and that's why Christians also speak a lot about the creation of the world, because they are paganly indoctrinated, and that's why they say that stuff. Like when you ask them about God, they are pretty much quick to speak about Genesis. That's not something random. That's because their deity is pagan, pretty much. Like not Yahweh, but the way they have been taught about Yahweh is pretty much pagan, not Christian. Like the correct understanding of the biblical deity is not like that. It's relational, as Copilot would say, not like through what he created or not created and what he governs and not. That's pretty pagan, and that's why the theogony is important for the pagans. It's not about creation, because it doesn't speak about creation. That's fundamentally wrong, and it shows that my teacher was a barbarian, because that's not what the story is all about. The story is about like the creation as related to Zeus. What is the nature of Zeus in relation to the creator, the creation, the creator as related to the creation. It's not about your relationship with him. It's about how he is your father, a figure, your ruler, your governor. It's fundamentally different. Understand? Yes, it's very close. If you're like Helga, that's quite close with the Bible. Yes, it is. That's what I say. It is very close, but it is like comparing a crocodile with an alligator. That's why it is similar, but it's not fundamentally the same, because the Bible speaks about one specific deity that created you. Personally, he took mud from the ground, he shaped you, he gave you a name, and so on. Like, this is completely foreign to pagan scripture, because for in pagan scripture, a deity creates you, puts you in the ground. You don't know exactly when this happened. You don't know exactly which deity. It's debated. Some say Prometheus, some say Zeus with Athena, because Athena is the goddess of wisdom. You know, like the creator of the humans is the goddess of wisdom, and Logonzon, the rational animal, right? So we have assumptions. We don't know exactly, and obviously when he created human, it was not a specific person named Adam. It's many people that they were created, and the story that I know is that they were created inside the ground, and they were many people, not one person, and they had the name from God directly, Adam, and then he made him his wife and he named her Eve. That's pretty relational. Zeus doesn't speak about that. The theogony is all about his glory and his nature, in relation to the creation. That means that in everything you see in the creation, what Sarah said in the video, I am death, I am chaos, I am the dawn, that's what Hecate and Nyx told her she is, like the Nyx is death, chaos and shit. That's what the Theogony says. That's why we have the Theogony. It's not about the birth of deities, it's about the birth of the cosmos as related to Zeus. Therefore, each thing you see in the cosmos is Zeus. It points to Zeus. Like his death, his birth, his dawn, he is the ocean, he is the skies, he is the underworld, he is the day, he's the night, he's everything. His siblings. What did he say to Sarah? My epithets are my children. Every epithet that you see, Uranus, Chaos, Gaia, Nyx, the Titans, everything is Zeus. That's the story of the Theogony. It's not about your relationship with him, it's about who he is. The Genesis account is about your father. Like, it's like your father saying, look, I am Yahweh, I made you, I want to have a relationship with you, this shit happened, that shit happened, and so on. So that's all it says. It doesn't say anything about from that, anything else, right? So here it says that, so as I said, like he's a ruler, he's not your father exactly. That's very foreign from pagan understanding. Yes, he created you, but you don't know many details about that, and the reason you don't know many details is because he's an impersonal, distant entity. He's not personal like Yahweh, therefore you don't need to know everything about his existence. Only this very random like vague details that anybody can assume, even if not mystics, like, if you get what I mean. So yeah, that's what I say. That's all the Theogony and all these texts are about. And this is why I said, yes, he is a father, he's not really a father, yes, he's not really a creator. Like, as a Greek myself, I can understand it more than I can actually explain it, but I think my father, he actually helped me articulate it a little better. So yeah, I'm putting it back. So
there was a lot more to the story than that. It began on Mount Olympus. Zeus, king of the gods, was terrified of a prophecy that he would be overthrown by his son, as he himself had overthrown his own father, Kronos, and Kronos had overthrown Uranus. He looked down on earth and saw many of his children, demigods and heroes, as threats to his rule. So, plotting with the titan of fairness no less, Themis, he hatched a plan to bring about the demise of many heroes, the great Trojan War, where he hoped his own children might die in order to protect himself.
So what you see here is very correct. It's not written, but it is very correct in terms of pagan understanding, Greek understanding. The overthrowing a king of the universe 3 times is something that happens in it is something that happens in the Greek myths 3 times. It happens 3 times, I think. Yeah. So chaos is taken. The rule of chaos is taken by Uranus, his son. Then Uranus starts imprisoning his sons, and Cronus, who is the heir, takes over from his father Uranus, and he starts ruling the cosmos. That's all in the Theogony by Hesiod. Then Zeus, who is the smallest of all the kids, there is a prophecy for him. Prophecy is something that happens in all the stories of the Theogony, like even hold on. Where's the other rabbit though? Okay. Okay, so that's only one left. So after each like overthrowing, there is a prophecy. So there was a prophecy for Uranus taking over chaos. There was a prophecy for Cronus taking over from Uranus. There was a prophecy for Zeus taking over Cronus. And that was also for our people taking over the ruling from Zeus. So each generation taking over the previous one. I can ask Copilot to give me specific directions about this. For every change of ruling chaos to Uranus to Cronus, there was a prophecy. Give me the lines to read out, please. So, its cosmic succession in Greek mythology, says Copilot, from chaos to Uranus to Cronus was marked by a prophetic rapture, a warning or vision that foretold the overthrow of the current ruler. These transitions weren't random, they were fated, and the myths preserve fragments of those prophecies. Here are the key lines in moments you can read aloud. From chaos to Uranus. Chaos is primordial, formless, silent. There is no spoken prophecy here, but the birth of Gaia, Earth, and Uranus sky signals the first structure, and with it, the inevitable tension between contentment and expansion. From chaos came Gaia, broad-breasted Earth, ever firm foundation of all. It's not explicitly stated there is a prophecy about chaos, but as a Greek, you know that it was inevitable that Uranus would take over because Gaia was connected with Uranus, aka Sky and Earth were connected. They were giving birth to children, and what happened was that I don't exactly remember how it happened. Like I'm trying to remember. Hold on, I will ask Copilot because I don't remember how the myth goes. Like I froze there. Who separated Uranus from Gaia? That's the myth, but I don't remember who did that. Okay. Cronus separated. Okay, the son. Okay. In Hesiod's theogony, Gaia, Earth, grew furious with Uranus sky because he kept imprisoning their children, the Titan, Cyclops, and Hekatonchires. Hekatonchires, that means 100 hands children. Yeah, there were beasts that had 100 hands. Hekatonchires. Katon, it's 100. Hira is hand. Okay. Deep within her, to end this torment, Gaia crafted a great sickle and asked her children to help overthrow Uranus. Only Cronus, the youngest Titan, agreed. I remember he was the oldest. Anyways, when Uranus came to lie with Gaia, Cronus ambushed him and castrated him with the sickle, separating sky from earth. This act ended Uranus' reign and began Cronus' rule. So yes, Cronus was the one who physically and symbolically separated Uranus from Gaia under Gaia's command and with her tools. It's not symbolic. Basically, this is how the Greeks explained why the sky is not connected with the earth. That means that the gods are outside of our sphere, so the atmosphere that the earth has, right, the Greeks said no god is within the atmosphere. The gods are outside of the atmosphere of the earth. They are in the universe, in the cosmos. That's what they believe. They are very distant. That's why they assigned the deity names into very distant planets, Jupiter and Saturn. They are very far away, and that's why they did that, to explain why Uranus, okay, the heavens are very far away from the earth, that they kept doing children with each other, like God with people, pretty much. That's what it means. And then like Cronus, who is the son of Gaia and Uranus, he's the third ruler actually. He castrates his father. Yeah, he caught his balls and his dick. Yeah, that's what it says in the Theogony by Hesiod. Yeah, I know. And the castration led to the overthrowing of Uranus and the beginning of the rule of Cronus. You can find all this in the Theogony. This was the next generation. The first generation was Chaos, who is a solemn ruler. He is giving birth alone to Gaia and Uranus and all that jazz, but there is a prophecy that's not mentioned. It's pretty much unwritten. It's not specifically said, to be fair, because chaos in Greek, when you hear the word, it's not a name. Chaos means not in order. Uranus and Gaia, who are the sons of chaos, are the next generation of rulers, are divine order. They are the order, they are the geometry, they are the mathematics. All this stuff leads to the scientific, let's put it that way inside brackets, explanation that yes, chaos is overthrown. There is no not order anymore. Chaos doesn't exist anymore. We have order. So you don't need an explicit in Greek prophecy to speak about the overthrowing of chaos, because since chaos is the first ruler and then order starts, like chaos, as I said, means chaos, not in order. Since order arises from within chaos, that means not anymore chaos is gonna be the divine ruler of the cosmos, but his successors, aka his children. But for the next generations, you're gonna need somebody to explain to you why they are overthrown. So you need the direct prophecy written down. So yeah, the son of Uranus, Cronus, would overthrow him. That was foretold. That's why Uranus started imprisoning his children. You get what I mean? So let's continue from there now that I explained. So from Uranus to Cronus, right? This is not a prophecy in words, it's a cosmic inevitability. As I said, Gaia births Uranus and the sky begins to press down on the earth. This tension begins. Here the prophecy is explicit. Uranus fears his children and imprisons them, but Gaia rebels. She gives Cronus a sickle and tells him what must be done. Come now, my children, and help me punish the vile outrage of your father, for he first began doing shameful things. That's in Hesiod Theogony, lines 156 to 160. Cronus is told, you will overthrow your father, and he does, castrating Uranus and ending his reign. Then, from Cronus to Zeus. Cronus hears a prophecy that his own child will overthrow him, just as he overthrew Uranus. In fear he swallows his children. Great Cronus swallowed them all, as each issued from the womb to his mother's knees, with this intent, that none other of the proud sons of heaven should hold the kingly office among the immortals. Hesiod Theogony, lines 459 to 467. But Rhea hides Zeus. Rhea is the mother of Zeus, the wife of Cronus, the Titaness, and the prophecy is fulfilled. Optional ritual line to read aloud. Okay, no, I'm not interested about that. So let's see, I think I have somewhere Theogonia. Let's see the original. I think I have it. Right. Helga, what is wrong with your mouth? My mouth, I've eaten fucking chocolate. Okay, I found it. It's the original ancient Greek. Mind me a little bit, I will read it in Greek. I will try my fucking best to translate in English, because first I have to understand what it says in ancient Greek and then translate it in English. It's not classical Greek, it's archaic Greek, it's fucking old. Let's see what I understand though. Helga, did you read it in ancient Greek? No, I have read it in modern Greek, obviously. I am not trained to know archaic Greek, but theoretically speaking, I could understand something. So, we are speaking lines 459. Okay, I think I can find that. Okay. Yeah, it's ancient as fuck. It's ancient as fuck. I don't think I can understand everything, but I will try my very best, I promise. Okay. So, και τους μεν κατέπινε μέγας χρόνος, ώστις έκαστος νηδίος εξιερής μητρός προς γούνα οίκητο. I understand the words, like the words are Greek, obviously. Can you see? The words are Greek, but they are very, very fucking old Greek. Like the name of Zeus here is called, for example, here, Zeus. That's more ancient than, I don't know, like Noah. It's very, very ancient. Like Zeus is called Dias in Greek, modern Greek. In ancient, he was Zeus, Dios. So Zeus, Zeus, and Dios. When you said Dios, it's of Zeus. So when you said Zeus wants to do this, you would say Zeus. But if you said this book belongs to Zeus, you would say this book belongs to Dios. That's where the Dias today comes from. It's from the second form in declension. That's genitive in declension. That's something that you don't have in English or in Chinese or whatever. Yeah, so that's how we do it in Greece. Zenas is fucking ancient. It's fucking up ancient. Like it's probably 3,000 years old, like as a word, you know. Anyway, so και τους μεν κατάπινεν μέγας χρόνος, and the great Cronus was swallowing them, ώστις έκαστος νηδίος εξιερής μητρός προς γούνα θήκητο. I don't know all the words here, unfortunately. It's very, very ancient, but it says who each of them were clothed with their holy mother inside their womb, I think. That's what it says. Τα φρονέων είναι αμή στην αγαβών ουρανιώνων, άλλος εκθανάτησιν έχειν βασιλιίδα τιμήν. The ones with Phroneos is with the rational mind, so that the sons of the Uranus Ουρανιώνων should be sons of Uranus. Άλλος εν εθανάτησιν έχει βασιλιίδα τιμήν. Nobody among the immortals will have the royal honor, so nobody will become a king. Πέθετο γάρ γέης τε και ουρανού αστερόεντος, ουνεκά υπέπρωτο εώ υποπεδί δαμίνε και κρατερό περαιόντι δίος μεγάλου διαβουλάς. Το όγε ουκ αλλά οσκοποιήν έχεν, αλλά δοκεύων πέδας έως κατέπινεν. Okay, so it says, because of Gaia and Uranus were in the stars, there were nobody before them, not stronger among them. Zeus had the biggest will among them, I think. Το ογε ουκ αλασκοπήν έχεν, I can't translate that because I have no idea what αλασκοπήν is as a word. I have no idea, it's very ancient, but the other words I can. So το ογε ουκ, that is don't, this, and has, but I cannot understand what this all is about because I don't know the other word. So I have a limited understanding in the ancient because I miss a word here. Αλλά δοκεύων πέδας εούς κατέπινεν, but his children was swallowing. Cronus was swallowing his children, it says. Rain δε είχε πένθος άλαστον, so Rhea, because of that, had a very big mourning. Okay. Αλλά τε δι έμελε Θεόν Πάτερ είδε και ανδρών τέξεσθε, τον έπειτα φίλους λιτάνευε τοκίας τους αυτής, γέαντε και ουρανών αστερόεντα, μη την συμφράσασθε όπως λελάθη το τεκούσα πέδα φίλων, τέσσε το δερινής πατρός ή ο παιδών, ους κατέπινε μέγας χρόνος αγκυλομήτης. Okay, that's the only part I'm gonna read. It's very difficult for me. I understand the general meaning, but it's fucking ass. It's like, I think this book is about 3,000 years old. Like it's archaic Greek. That's not classical Greek. That's ancient. That was ancient Greek for Plato, who is an ancient Greek. That's why it's so hard for me to understand what it says. It's ancient Greek, even for ancient Greeks. You get what I mean? So what I understand, if you're like why you understand some things, because I know classical Greek, so I can distinguish some shit like verb, adjective. Some words are preserved in modern Greek, not all of them. Like for example, rain. There is no way to understand that this is the name Rea. Rain. Nothing. I understand it because I have a very, very good knowledge in classical Greek. Personally speaking, I trained myself outside of school because I wanted to be able to read these texts, the philosophical texts, when I was a mystic, the Greek text of the Bible, Hebrew Bible, in the I don't know how to pronounce that, Septuagint, like the original text. I can read that, and I trained myself to understand classical Greek, so I can read the Bible. I wanted to read the Bible. I did that for God, so that's why I can do that. So I will try my best. If somebody out there knows better, if they are trained in the archaic Greek, they have gone into university, guys. I am self-taught. I did that because I wanted to read the Bible. I know classical Greek, professionally speaking. I don't know like archaic Greek. I wasn't taught that thing in school. I wasn't taught that in my university. That's all my personal trying to keep up with the language. So excuse me if I make any mistakes. I'm just saying that beforehand. If you give me Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, like Protagoras, I don't know, Xenophon, Themistocles, Thucydides, sorry, and so on. I can translate that. But I can't translate this dude here because he's fucking ancient. He's very ancient. I don't have the knowledge. Okay, but I'm trying my best. Okay, so Αλότε δι, έμελε Θεόν Πάτερ. So here it says δι. That's the name of Zeus, but you cannot know that if you don't know ancient Greek again, as I said. So, but because it was meant that Zeus would be the father of gods and men, τότε έπειτα φίλους λιτάνευε το κίας τους αυτής, and then his friends he had as friends these Gaia and Uranus in the stars. I think this is what it says, that Zeus had friends in the sky, Gaia and Uranus in the stars, emitting συμφράσαστε, I have no idea what that means, όπως λελάθη το τεκούσα πέδα φίλων. Okay, as it was said that she would make kids from his kids, I think. I'm not quite sure, honestly. Τίσε το δερινής πατρός ή ο παιδών, ούσε κατέπινεν μέγας χρόνος αγκυλομήτης. Cronus with the hooked nose, αγκυλομήτης, that definitely doesn't mean like that, right? But I'm putting a question mark, that's what I think so. I think that's like an anthropomorphic like imaginary of Cronus, like that he had some facial structure. He was swallowing his children so that they won't take the paternity ruling from him, so that he can still preserve his throne. That's what it says, I think. So it I think it says that the deities are friends with each other, as far as I am concerned. Like the Gaia and Uranus had as friend Zeus, something like that. That's what I see, personally speaking, from the text, but I cannot be sure because I don't know classical, I don't know archaic Greek, I know classical Greek. So I think my translation is a 7 out of 10. Not to brag, but I could do even worse than that. And yes, I put myself here vulnerably trying to do a translation from all the knowledge I don't have from archaic Greek. It's fucking ancient. But I do that because I'm not a snob. Even if I don't know something, I'm gonna say it, okay? So what I wanna say here is that divine order, like going from chaos to Uranus to Cronus to Jupiter, Zeus, and then people. That's the circle of life in paganism. So that's not a genealogy of deities giving birth to each other. That in Greek understanding is the circle of life. Chaos gave birth to divine order. Divine order had Cronus. Cronus is time. So order gave birth to time, space, like look, universe, Gaia and Uranus. That's heavens and earth, right? They had as a father the outside of the universe. So the outside of the chaos gave birth to universe. So that's space, right? Universe. And then they gave birth to time, right? And then they gave birth what? Father of all. So Zeus is time, he's space, he's chaos and order, he's the heavens, he's the earth, he's time, he's old, he's young, his daughter, his son, his father, mother, everything and nothing. He is to be. That's the meaning. And that's why we have the theogony. The theogony says exactly what I am saying now. That's why the scientists say that if you go further back in space, if you travel like 65 million light years away from the Earth, the science says, if you do that, you will see with a telescope in the Earth the dinosaurs getting destroyed by the meteor. Why they say that? Because the time is further back in time. So the further you go in space, the further back in time as well you go. Space and time are relational. That's not a modern scientific discovery. That's pagan doctrine from the Greeks. Because Cronus, hold on, can you see? So this is Jupiter, that's Zeus, that's the planet Zeus in Greek. Jupiter means Zeus in Latin. That's Cronus, the most beautiful planet in my opinion, with the rings, right? That's Cronus, Saturn, it's the same person. So this is the fifth planet, that's the sixth planet, that was the last planet that the Greeks could see, and that very light blue planet is Uranus, that was discovered in, I think, the 18th century, if I'm not mistaken. He's, I think, 3,000 years old in terms of discovery. So they couldn't see it without a telescope. He is very far away from the Earth and the Sun as well, okay? Very distant ice giants, Neptune and Uranus. Cronus was the last one. So when the universe was seen by the ancient Greeks, it was until here. So you could see Hermes, that is Mercury, that's the god messenger. He was also Psychompobos, that was like the god of dead souls that were going to Hades, right? Like a Grim Reaper. Venus is Aphrodite, is the god of love, as we said before. Earth, and then is Mars, Ares of Velarde, that's the god of war. So that was the order that I could see. So after that, there is the asteroid belt. We have it here as well. The asteroid belt is right here. That's the asteroid belt. You have Vesta, you have Ceres, you have Pallada, Aegea, and so on. And then behind that, very far away from the Earth, as you can see, the Earth is here. Here is Jupiter. Very far away is the father of the deities, Jupiter, and behind him is Saturn. And this is not visible for the ancient Greek. They could only see with their naked eye, with their equipment only here. That is discovered after the 18th century because of the equipment. So they were saying that the most distant planet is who? Time, Cronus, Saturn, and his son Jupiter is the father of all. He is the ruler of the cosmos. That's Zeus. Okay, the biggest planet. So the biggest planet. So the first biggest planet. That's the second biggest planet. So that's scientifically correct even today. These planets are the rulers of the cosmos. That's the son and that's the father, and that in Greek, Christian, understanding, that's Jesus. That's why I said that Jesus, and that is the father deity of Jesus. You get what I mean? So son of God. So when Christians say son of God, they don't mean what the Bible says. They mean this. They mean Jupiter, Zeus, Jesus is the son of God, and they mean this. They mean the father time. They mean the father of the space-time, the father of the order, the one that was existing before order, the father of chaos, pretty much, chaos itself. Chaos, order, time, space-time, universe. That's what it means. So that's the meaning of the story, and that's why we have the theogony. The theogony symbolizes all this stuff, and it is the circle of life, like space gave birth to the father. You get what I mean? And that's why Saturn is such a very lonely, distant planet, and that's why they assigned him such a role. Obviously nothing to do with the object, the celestial object. That's why my daddy said don't worship the stars you see on the sky, that leads to idolatry. That's why he said that. He didn't say that to be like a person who will get on your nerves. He said it because he knew that people worship such stuff and they do it and they cause problems in your theology pretty much later in life. So let's continue.
The plan to bring about the demise of many heroes, the Great Trojan War, where he hoped his own children might die in order to protect himself. The plan was put into motion with a single dream. One night, Hecuba, the pregnant queen of Troy, dreamt that she gave birth to a flaming firebrand.
As you can see, she saw a dream. Dreams in ancient Greece are deceptive. Zeus, when he sends you a dream, as he sent to me tonight, that's always deceptive. When you receive a dream in the Homeric poems like Agamemnon, if he will say it in the video, I don't know that, but when you see a dream in ancient Greek context, that's always a bad sign. Even for the primitive pagans, when Agamemnon received a dream, he shouldn't believe it because Zeus was acting against him. He wanted to kill him and he couldn't see it. And the philosophers, who are people who lived about 600 years after the Homeric poems were written down, they said the dreams come from the liver. Your intestines, the liver. That's because they saw that only a drunk person can have a dream. That's offensive for people with addictions. It's very offensive. I hate it, but I'm explaining it. You can find it in Timaeus, the book of by Plato. They said that the dreams are given to humankind by deities because they are trying to deceive them, because they are blind and they don't want to listen to the correct way the deities speak. What is the correct way the deities speak in ancient Greek frame and mystical frame, as I have said always in my channel? Mathematics. Not with dreams, not with literature, not with these devices. These devices are deceptive for Zeus. The correct way to speak for an ancient Greek philosopher and a Greek philosopher like me, for example, that's why Hesiod was labeled as a liar, deceptive shepherd by Zeus, because Zeus doesn't like stories, doesn't like storytelling. He's just using it so he can forward certain messages he wants us to know from his behalf. Okay, so what is the correct way of speaking with a deity? Mathematics, numerology, sacred geometry, that's divine order, it's science. It's not rational mind, comes from mathematics and algebra. It doesn't come from literature, poetry, like being emotional, being romantic, that's discouraged in ancient Greek frame and philosophical frame, and that's why I'm not a philosopher anymore. I never liked this crap. I'm pretty much a romantic slash artistic slash literature poetry person myself, and I hate maths, to be fair, and geometry and all that shit. But what I'm saying here is that the entire frame of that thing we see here is that we see a deity giving a dream. That's a bad omen for both a philosopher and a light pagan, and for a primitive pagan. In every context, even Hesiod was called a liar by fucking Zeus. I can read that out to you. I can find again that ancient text. I think I can translate that. Okay. So it says okay, found it. Μουσέων ελικονιάδων άρχομενιδίν ελικόνος εκουσινόρους μέγατας αθεόντε. It says more, it says about the muses that they came to him, and it says so Γιάντε ωκεανών τε μέγαν Gaia and the big ocean και νύχτα μέλαιναν, I suppose they existed and Nyx existed, άλλων των αθανάτων ιερών γένος εν αιώντων. But the immortal generation of the gods was sacred, αλλά νύθ ποθ ισίωδον καλήν εδίδαξαν εωδήν, άρνας πίμενον ελικόνος υποζαθέιο. But they taught the good song to Hesiod, who was a shepherd in Elikonos, where Elikonos the river is, something like that. I think he speaks about by a river, pretty much, not like in a field. That's my assumption by the text. Τούδε δε με πρώτιστα Θεέ προς μύθον έπεν μουσεν Ολυμπιάδες κούρε διός Αιγίοχιο. So this is what they said first, the goddesses, about the myth, the muses from Olympus, the daughters of Zeus, to the shepherd who had a sheep. Ποιμένες άγραυλοι κατελέγχια γαστέρεσίων. You shepherds are, I think it says illiterate, but I don't know the word, άγραυλοι, anyways, κατελέγχια γαστέρεσίων. Γαστέρα is gods. You worship your gods, that's what it says there, gods, like you worship your tummy, right, your heart. Έδμεν ψεύδια πολλά λέγεινε τίμωσιν ομοία, because you say many lies. Ήδμεν δετ εθέλομεν αληθέα μυθιθάσθε, but if you wanna to, you can be taught how to say the truth. Ως ύφασαν κούρε μεγάλου διώσαρτη έπε, that's how the daughters of great Zeus told him. So that's what it says here. Yeah, that was easy for me to translate. I have to learn what the fuck is Elikonas. I'm gonna die if I don't know that. Elikonas, oh, it's a fucking mountain. So you can see, actually, I'm not familiar. So is this potamos? Potamo? Ah, okay. I'm not entirely dead. So actually, Elikonas is an ancient river in Pieria. That's a place in Greece. So yes, there is a mountain in Greece that has the same name. But what I understood by my understanding of ancient Greek, that it was a river, that it said by Elikonas, meaning a river. Yeah. Well done, Helga. You know your ancient Greek. Even if they are very ancient Greek, you can understand them. Bravo me. My father says bravo, Helga. Father, what do you give me? His professional level. He says, what did you say, Dad? What did you say? That's not a C1, that's a C2, he says in ancient Greek, because you taught that yourself to be able to articulate stuff about me. So for me that's a C2, he says. People would give you C1, but I give you C2 for this reason, and thank you so much, he says. Thank you, Dad. Anyways, so Hope I explained a little bit about that. So that's why you have like deceptive dreams in ancient Greek stories, and also the philosophers discourage you from listening to your dreams pretty much, like even sleeping dreams or dreams like I want to become an artist. They discourage that for this reason, because they lead to deception, because they are given to you by God so you can be blinded and fall hybris, distraction, and hell. That's how it is seen in this spiritual time, like theological frame. You get what I mean? So obviously, when you see something that starts with a dream, it's gonna get fucked up. That's always how it starts in ancient stories, in the philosophers, everything. So that's very foreign from ancient Hebrew and New Testament Greek scripture, like biblical, because in the Bible God talks through dreams. He is pretty much a dreamer himself. He is making what he dreams. He is pretty much a very artistic person, as I know him. Like something that I love very much from the Bible that I can compare with this bullshit is the story of the blind guy. I can actually read that to you before I continue with the video. Sometime I have to finish with that as well. I'm speaking for quite too long, am I not? So that's John chapter 9, if I remember correct. Right? Yeah. And when he went on his way, he saw a man blind from birth, and his disciples put a question to him, saying, Master, was it because of this man's sin or the sin of his father and mother that he was been blind from birth? So I think here, now that I read this, because it's about blindness and we speak about blindness in this channel a lot, I think the disciples, because they were indoctrinated in a Roman Greek setting with this society, they were taught that the blindness is a sign of divine punishment because Zeus punishes you with blindness. Did we discuss about Saramago and about the allegory of the cave where you lose your eyesight when you go outside because you are blinded by how intense the sun is, and when you go inside you lose your eyesight again, and how the wife of the doctor lost her eyesight after she helped everybody. So I think the disciples here legit had this question because they were indoctrinated in their educational system, because they were citizens of the Roman Empire, which was a Greek empire. It was inspired by the Greeks, and Greek was the official language of the empire alongside with Latin. So Greece and Roman civilization, pretty much you can say the same civilization, right? They thought that this is a sign of divine punishment, and Jesus here clarifies that this is a pagan doctrine, and he does it with a very magnificent way. It's like saying bravo God here, yeah. So Jesus said in answer, it was not because of his sin or because of his fathers or mothers. It was so that the works of God might be seen openly in him. Fuck my life. Jago, why are you crying? Because it says you are taught by Zeus. That's what I see here. I hadn't seen it the other time. Like it says that like I remember there is a song by Van Vee. It says when you swerve in the corner, that's ένα τσιγάρο διαδρομή, like one cigarette distance. When you swerve, when you steer on the right in this distance, see me with open new eyes. And that's how I feel right now, like I'm seeing my father with new eyes, because I have read this part of the scripture many times in my life, but this is the first time that I see it like that. Okay. So it says it was not because of his sin, so he hasn't sinned, and not because of his fathers or mothers. Like, what did Saramago say? That the guy helped the other guy that was blinded, and he was blinded himself. So Jesus says nothing of all this bullshit. That's bullshit, he says. What is the correct answer? It was so that the works of God might be seen openly in him. So he will see, like the guy's blind, but he will see God working in him, like it's the way of Jesus saying that I'm not Zeus, bestia, I'm Yahweh. That's how he says it, and he does something very amazing. Like I really like what he does next, and that's why I wanted to discuss this scripture here. While it is day, we have to do the works of him who sent me. The night comes when no work may be done. That's again about eyesight. You can see in day, but you can't see in night, right? As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. Fuck my life. It's very amazing because he says, as long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world, because you are taught that this fucking world is a matrix as a mystic, that this world is a cave. You have to open your eyes of your soul, you have to open your third eye in order to see God. And he says, even in this world, you don't have to open your eyes. I am in this world, you don't need a light. It's not like he says, if I leave, you are in darkness. He doesn't say that. Usually Christians say that because they believe in the matrix. They believe that if Jesus goes up and he sends the helper, you have to deal with your bullshit alone. No, it doesn't say that. It says that you are indoctrinated to believe that you are in a cave and you are in darkness and you need to open your third eye and you have to get out of the cave and see Agathon. No, I'm not like that. I am inside the world. I'm not outside of it. I'm not outside of this sphere. I'm not outside in the universe speaking like a distant deity like Cronus and Jupiter. I'm inside of this world, and I don't know, that's amazing, isn't it? And anyways, having said these words, he put earth mixed with water from his mouth on the man's eyes. So you can see here what it says, like in Greek says he spat on the ground, but I like the translation as it is said here because it says water and earth, and you can see like what Hesiod said about Uranus being connected and giving birth to kids with Gaia. You see it here, earth and water, the heavens, like heavens and earth. I don't know how to explain. Like my father says that the heavens are supported by waters, like you have water in the heavens. That's what it says, like in the Bible. So you see water, heaven, and earth combined to create man from the beginning, like they were in the Garden of Eden the first day in Genesis. It's like Yahweh saying, I am the person who made you, I can make eyes for you from the beginning. And I don't know, like, I don't know who would ever wanna go back and read Saramago's story after this. That's what I mean. And it says he put earth and mixed it with water from his mouth like he spat, and he put it in the man's eyes and said to him, go and make yourself clean in the bath of Siloam. The sense of the name is sent. So he went away, and after washing came back able to see. Then the neighbors and others who had seen him before in the street with his heart out for money said, is this not the man who got money from people? So he said, then it is he. Others said, no, but he is like him. But he said, I am he. So they said to him, how were your eyes made open? His answer was, the man who is named Jesus put earth mixed with water on my eyes and said to me, go and make yourself clean in Siloam. So I went away, and after washing I am now able to see. And they said to him, where is he? His answer was, I have no knowledge. Anyways, the Pharisees didn't want to continue the discussion. They said that he is not blind. I don't know. Read it. Should I read it? Okay. They took him before the Pharisees, this man who had been blind. Now the day on which the earth was mixed by Jesus and the man's eyes were made open was the Sabbath. So the Pharisees put more questions to him about how his eyes had been made open. And he said to them, he put earth on my eyes, and I had a wash, and am able to see. Then some of the Pharisees said, that man was not come from God, for he does not keep the Sabbath. Others said, how is it possible for a sinner to do such things? There was a division among them. Because the Pharisees are mystics here, they are not talking with Yahweh, they are talking with Zeus, obviously. They think that you can't open a person's eye from soil with clay and water. They have to open their third eye in order to see. They can't see it properly. Yeah, it may sound crazy, but this is why they refuse to accept it, because for them you have to see with the eyes of your soul, and now you have a deity that actually opens the eyes, the physical eyes of a person. For a pagan, you see Buddhist monks very skeletal-like because they don't eat. You see pagans that do crazy diets as well. This is the correct way of a pagan. You open your third eye, you don't care about your bodily needs, sex, food. Like if you are crippled and you need help for your health, if you need medicine. There are many pagans that refuse scientific medicine for their bodily needs, and they say, no, I'm not gonna do that, I'm gonna meditate instead. That's all pagan understanding. You have to open your third eye, you get what I mean? Then some of the Pharisees said, that man has not come from God, for he does not keep the Sabbath. Others said, how is it possible for a sinner to do such a thing? So there was a division among them. Again they said to the blind man, what have you to say about him for opening your eyes? And he said, he is a prophet. Now the Jews had no belief in the statement that he had been blind and was now able to see, till they sent for the father and mother of the man whose eyes had been made open, and put the question to them, saying, is this your son, of whom you say that he was blind at birth? How is it then that he is now able to see? In answer, his father and mother said, we are certain that this is our son, and that he was blind at birth. But how is it he now able to see? Or who made his eyes open? We are not able to say. Put the question to him. He is old enough to give an answer for himself. They said this because of their fear of the Jews, for the Jews had come to an agreement that if any man said that Jesus was the Christ, he would be put out of the synagogue. That was the reason why they said, he is old enough. Put the question to him. So they sent a second time for the man who had been blind, and they said to him, glory give to God. It is clear to us that this man is a sinner. He said in answer, I have no knowledge if he is a sinner or not, but I am one thing certain about, I was blind, now I can see. Sorry. I can say the same thing about my dad as well. Like, I was blind, now I can see. And I'm speaking about, this comes from a person that was able to see with the third eye open. Like, I have opened my third eye, and I say that because he has taught me everything I know, and that those marvelous things that I know, not the pagan demonic stuff that Andrew was asking me in class, for example. So that's what I mean. Then they said to him, what did he do to you? How did he give you the use of your eyes? His answer was, I have said it before, but your ears were shut. I agree. Why would you have me say it again? Is it your desire to become his disciples? Yeah. And they were angry with him and said, you are his disciple, but we are disciples of Moses. We are certain that God gave his word to Moses. But as far for his man, we have no knowledge where he comes from. The man said in answer, why, here is a strange thing. You have no knowledge where he comes from, though he gave me the use of my eyes. We have knowledge that God does not give ear to sinners. But if any man is a worshipper of God and does his pleasure, to him God's ears are open. In all the years nobody has ever been seen the eyes of a man blind from birth made open. If this man did not come from God, he would not be able to do anything. Their answer was, you came to birth through sin. Do you make yourself our teacher? And they put him out of the synagogue. It came to the ears of Jesus that they had put him out, and meeting him he said, have you faith in the Son of Man? He said in answer, and who is he, Lord? Say so that I may have faith in him. Jesus said to him, you have seen him, it is he who is talking to you. And I love this so much because you have him having a direct contact with this guy, like he gave him his eyesight and he said, I am God. It's the exact same parallel with the Agathon from the Republic of Plato. Like, you see God, but you open your third eye. No, here you have God opening your eyes. You're not opening your third eye yourself, and you have him saying, I am God. You're not seeing a son yourself. And that's amazing. I have no idea who the fuck would like Plato after all this I'm saying. And he said, Lord, I have faith, and he gave him worship. And Jesus said, I came into this world to be a judge, so that those who do not see may see, and those who see may become blind. Yeah, Father, preach. These words came to the ears of the Pharisees who were with him, and they said to him, are we then blind? Jesus said to them, if you were blind, you would have no sin. But now that you say, we see, your sin is still there. So that's a quite good parallel for the story that I was saying. Because, as I said, your eyes, how you see things, how you perceive your reality in Greek paganism is completely different from the biblical one. For the Bible, you can become a dreamer, and your dream can become true if you believe in it. But in Greek paganism, dreams are often and all times basically deceptive, and that's both from primitive pagans and for elite pagans. They said the same thing. They like elite pagans and primitive pagans in Greece disagree in almost everything. Like primitive pagans believe in heaven and hell, elite pagans believe in reincarnation only. So they have differences, but in this aspect they have a meeting point. They believe that the one thing about dreams that it is definite is that they are always deceptive and you should never believe them. And when Zeus sends you a dream, it's because he wants you to become blind, and you shouldn't believe him, right? So
his son, as he himself had overthrown his own father, Kronos, and Kronos had overthrown Uranus.
fuck my life. Hey, that large gate over there just opened. Coincidence? I think not. Okay. Interesting to know that those smaller side gates are also open. Whoever built this place such sure loved gates. Perhaps we should move on and check them out. Okay.
Of a prophecy that he would be overthrown by his son, as he himself had overthrown his own father, Kronos, and Kronos had overthrown Uranus. He looked down on earth and saw many of his children, demigods and heroes, as threats to his rule.
Exactly.
So, plotting with the Titan of fairness, no less, Themis, he hatched a plan to bring about the demise of many heroes, the great Trojan War.
Porcelain vacation. You found a new tarot. Check it out at the museum. Okay.
Where he hoped his own children might die in...
I will go there later. Let's go ahead now. I will go back later to this so we can hear the video, okay?
So, plotting with the Titan of fairness, no less, Themis, he hatched a plan to bring about the demise of many heroes, the great Trojan War, where he hoped his own children might die in order to protect himself. The plan was put into motion with a single dream. One night, Hecuba, the pregnant queen of Troy, dreamt that she gave birth to a flaming firebrand, Adalon Diapuron, which spread and engulfed the city of Troy in flames. The seer Isaacus interpreted this dream, saying that the son Hecuba currently carried would cause the ruin of Troy when born. And so, worried that this prophecy be true, Priam,
did he speak ancient Greek? I didn't understand his accent. That's why I'm gonna see it again.
In order to protect himself. The plan was put into motion with a single dream. One night, Hecuba, the pregnant queen of Troy, dreamt that she gave birth to a flaming firebrand, Adalon Diapuron, which
Davlon Diapiron, is this what he said? If he said that Davlos is the branch stick and Pira is Pira, where is my Greek? I don't know. Sometimes I have English pronunciation for Greek. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me, honestly. If that's the word, because I can't understand his accent very well. His accent is not very well, and I'm not bashing. I'm just explaining that I'm not picking it because I don't know what he says. His accent is not consistent with Greek. That's what I'm saying. But he's doing an excellent job trying to speak about my culture. He's very respectful. He is very consistent with my culture. He is doing his best to do that. I'm not bashing, I'm just explaining I don't understand his accent, that's all, okay?
Spread and engulfed the city of Troy in flames. The seer Isaacus interpreted this dream, saying...
I have no idea what he said. He said something in Greek again, but I don't understand his accent again. I'm trying. Thorn, scorn. Bear thorn in your enemy's side with this menacing specimen taken straight from spooky trails. Just don't see it on it by accident. Okay. I will hear it once more, but I don't think I will be able to understand.
Adalon Diapuron, which spread and engulfed the city of Troy in flames. The seer Isaacus interpreted this dream.
The seer, a seer, a prophet, interpreted it, but I don't know the name. I don't know the name, and I don't remember it from the myth as well. I don't know. I don't remember all the names from our myths. Our myths are thousands and thousands. We have versions and versions. Like I know that many myths that I know from Greece, I know versions of them. I don't know all the versions. Like you have myths that people that you know, like I might know, for example, that Ze and Helga are married in this version. The second city outside of Athens, like Thebes, for example, let's put it that way, might say that Helga is the mother of Ze, and then you go to Thessaloniki, and Thessaloniki says that she's actually his grandmother. Like each city has a different version, so it's plenty of names and people and versions of the events. Like one version might say that Odysseus survived, the other might say that he died, the other say that he went to Zeus direct, the other one that he was punished to Tartarus. Many different versions. You can never learn everything, not even the most experts know everything. There is always a variation in oral tradition that you don't know, and that's why I say that you have to know my culture and how we operate, because oral tradition is something that is very prevalent, very important for my culture. Tradition is respected like sacred text in Greece, and you have to accept that and acknowledge that and not appropriate it, if that makes sense. Okay, but all power to the creator. Just because his accent is not correct, like it's British, that doesn't mean he's not doing his best, and more power to him. He's doing an amazing job.
Roy.
One of the few times that I actually say it with all my heart, that I see something that doesn't appropriate my culture, that's very consistent, very good try, very respectful environment, not like British washing it or American washing it or whatever country other than Greece. You know, I see a very respectful approach. I'm not saying venerate us like we are gods and saints. I'm not saying that, but I say that I see a respectful environment, and I really appreciate that. And whoever you are, thank you very much about that. You are from the UK. You are from the UK. Thank you very much about that. Whoever the fuck you are behind the Antiquity for All is your channel. Whoever the fuck you are that makes these videos, this channel, thank you very much, personally speaking, about that. I really appreciate it.
Dreamt that she gave birth to a flaming firebrand, Adalon Diapuron, which spread and engulfed the city.
And I have to give you that you have a very good R. The R is on point. Even if I don't understand the word, very good accent in the R. The R is exactly brr. I like that. Peekaboo, teleporting terrors. Okay.
Troy in flames. The seer Isaacus interpreted.
Fuck. My sensors tell me that these enemies are masters of long range attacks and teleportation. They could outflank us, attack, and then vanish before we could attack. Talk about unsporting. Okay. Also beware their seductive charms. Peekaboos can pull you towards them like a siren, leading a sailor to his doom. Fuck, I love the mythological aspect. I will take a screenshot. Maybe I will put this as a screen, like what's that called? Thumbnail. Okay. I will find what is the name. So Ekavi, Prophetia, prophecy. Let's see what is the name of the seer. By the way. Okay. Let's see what was. I'm trying to find. Let's ask Copilot. Let's ask Copilot because I am lost here. I'm lost in the web. What was the prophecy of Paris destroying Troy, and who interpret it? What's the name of the seer? Okay, so the prophecy foretelling Paris' role in the destruction of Troy is one of the most pivotal in Greek mythology, and yes, it was interpreted by a named seer before Paris was born. Queen Hekuba, Hekuba is in Greek, had a terrifying dream. She gave birth to a flaming torch that set Troy ablaze. Yeah, Davlon Pyrrhus, right? Pyrrhus. Yeah, Pyrrhon, I suppose. Yeah, the seer who interpreted it, Helga, the Homeric are not classical Greek. No, they are not. They are archaic as well. They are same age as Hesiod, pretty much. Like, put it in a very broader context. They are ancient Greek for the ancient Greeks. So, not exactly same age. I think the Homeric poems are older than Theogony. I think Theogony is 6th century or 7th century, and Homer is 8th, 9th century. So he predates Hesiod definitely, but he was ancient Greek for ancient Greeks, definitely. So yeah, you get what I mean. So what he said, and I was able to translate it. It was not classical Greek, still what he said, and I couldn't understand it. It was still ancient Greek. So no, it's not this reason that I didn't understand it. The reason is I couldn't pick any of these words. Like, I hear him speaking British pretty much. I'm not hearing Greek. You get what I mean? Because even if they are very ancient, I can still read them out like a text. I can recognize the characters. I can recognize the accent. I can speak. I can't translate everything because I don't have the explicit knowledge, but I can read classical Greek, so I can understand more ancient. They are closer to the time frame pretty much. You get what I mean? So it's like knowing pretty much like Renaissance English and trying to read English from the I don't know, like yeah, I suppose the Richard the Lionheart, or like the 100 Years War, or the Black Death, like the plague, some centuries earlier. Like you can, it's not exactly your language, but you can understand something, right? That's what I do. The seer was Esacus. What's his name in Greek, bestie? What's his name in Greek? Esacus, okay, Esacus. He was son to King Priam from a different mother, and he was known for his gift to interpret dreams. Okay, so he was a guy that was a brother of Paris, right? And Hekuba is a Kavi, right? Yeah, a Kavi. She's spelled like that. Hekuba is a Kavi. Can you see? So it's pronounced Kavi. That's the name of the mother of Paris, right? So let's continue with the video, though.
Flaming fire burned, a Dalon Diapuron, which spread and engulfed the city of Troy in flames. The seer Isacus interpreted this dream, saying that the son Hecuba currently carried would cause the ruin of Troy when born. And so, worried that this prophecy be true, Priam, king of Troy, ordered a shepherd called Agelaus to take the child and leave it upon Mount Ida to die. Agelaus did as he was ordered.
It's exactly the same story. Can you see like the repetition? It's the same story. That's what I said about the Theogony. Andrew said that the story, why do we have the Theogony? The Theogony is about the circle of life. The Theogony is about interpreting how space and time and Zeus operate inside the cosmos. It's not about genealogy of the deities. Andrew was speaking about Hegel, and he couldn't understand this basic theology that not even Plato 2,500 years ago wasn't accepting, and he was saying that this is bullshit. There were Greeks that believed that the gods have genealogies, and Plato was like, what are these people up to? And Andrew in the 21st century says this stuff, then you didn't flinch. That's what I'm saying. When even Plato, 2,500 years ago, was saying the exact same thing that I'm saying, that this story is not about genealogies, it's about the attributes of Zeus and his nature, right?
So, worried that this prophecy be true, Priam, king of Troy, ordered a shepherd called Agelaus to take the child and leave it upon Mount Ida to die. Agelaus did as he was ordered, taking the nameless child to the mount. 5 days later, however, he returned to find the boy still alive.
So that's the story of Zeus. Zeus was taken by a shepherd in Crete, in the island, in the famous Greek island. I've spoken about it many times, like Kazantzakis, the author, is from that place. So it's a very famous island as well, and I have spoken about it in my channel anyways. So, well, that's the same story. You have a guy, a prince, that has a prophecy about being born and destroying a city, a kingdom, overthrowing somebody, being the destruction of order and bringing a new order into existence, and they are abandoned with a shepherd. They are not born in majesty. They are born in majesty, but they are grown up as commoners. You get what I mean? That's the same trope, because it's the same story. It's the circle of life. It's completely the same trope. Like you are you're like your job there, your task there is to see Paris as Zeus, not see him as a different person. And if you think that this is crazy, that's Greek culture. It's not my problem if you don't understand it. If you think that that's crazy. You have to read the Greek text like a Greek would read it, not how you would read it in Britain and China. You get what I mean?
Agelaus carried the boy to his own farm in a leather bag.
It's way back.
5 days later, however, he returned to find the boy still alive. Agelaus carried the boy to his own farm in a leather bag, in Greek known as a pera, thus in some accounts giving rise to the boy's name, Paris.
Yep.
Paris grew to be
How
strong,
did he call it?
known as a pera, thus in some accounts giving rise to the boy's
So he gave it. I don't understand his accent.
Agelaus carried the boy to his own farm in a leather bag, in Greek known as a pera, thus in some accounts giving rise to the boy.
A creator said that the name Paris was given by a leather bag, but I didn't get his accent in Greek because he's British. What is the word in my language, please? Okay. Parion. Okay, parion, pare. Okay, pare. When you say pare, perno, the verb is perno, it's take. And the word is parion, aka bag, leather bag. I didn't get it. Okay, so it's parion. I can show you how it is. It's called parion, pare. That's the same verb. It's perno. We have it even in Greek, in modern Greek. It means take. So his name is Paris. It's taking, right? Not Paris, the capital of France, obviously. And I want to say something. It's called Parion. It's called Pareon, yeah. Pare, yeah. In ancient Greek, this is E today. Like this is called like. This is what gave birth to H in Latin. This letter here. It's like a vowel, E. But like when you write inoni, the ni in the end it's e, like that, ita. That's called ita. It's like the h. This gave birth to h pretty much if you see it in the Latin alphabet. Obviously they don't have the same use, but it's inspired by this letter. But like in ancient Greek they weren't pronouncing it e. They were pronouncing it e. So there was a word, you wrote it like this. This is an ancient word, but we keep it even in modern Greek. It's kypos. we said kypos. That means garden, kypos. But in ancient Greek, it was pronounced keepos. So it was not kypos, it was keepos. That was called a long-term vowel. We don't have this anymore. We don't have like the guys in China, like how you pronounce it in China. You have different pronunciation for each word you say, and depending how you make it sound, it's a different word, right? We had that, but for our vowels were, we had like, for example, we had like four, but each of them were pronounced differently, and that's why they were written down differently, different like spelling. Like we have this for it today, and we have this, and we have that, and this, and this. All these that you see here, they are all pronounced E. All these that I wrote, even the double ones, they are all E. But in today they sound the same. But back in the days they had different accent when you pronounced them, and we don't know exactly how they did it. We have fragments, we can see how probably they did it, because it has changed drastically from since then. Because today we say kypos, but back in the days we know they said keepos, which is completely different. And the we do is because it was long term, it was not short term, so we say kepos. That is how we would say it if it was today, that short term. But back then they were like in that, so in that regard. So that's why they did that. We don't have that anymore. In ancient Greek, this letter, the eta, this one that you saw, is the long-term E in Greek, and it was pronounced not E as we do it today. And yeah, that's something that it is obsolete in modern Greek. We don't do that anymore. We have a singular accent for all of our vowels, so E, A, E, O. We don't have variation of them. Some people say they understand some difference in accent depending on where you are and how you were raised. For example, I have heard that I have old Athenian accent, and that's weird. I have no idea how I managed to do that. Probably because I was raised in Athens. I don't know, but in my territory there were many people from other places, from other villages that migrated in Athens, like other villages, other cities, suburbs, and so on. I didn't move from anywhere else, and probably also some people were also immigrants from other countries. We had many people from Albania, for example, from Georgia, in Greece, not in Greece, in my class. My teacher had told me, my philology had told me that I have old Athenian accent. She had told me that instead of pronouncing like clear vowels, I was doing cursive. I have spoken about that again, and instead of saying, like, for example, like εγώ είμαι, for example, that means I am, εγώ είμαι, I am saying εγώ είμαι. I'm doing it very I'm exaggerating myself here to prove a point, that I'm doing that because I have the old Athenian Greek, which is tracing like accent that is tracing back to the ancient times. So I'm kind of mimicking what the ancient Athenians are doing, kind of, not prominently, because as I said, these are obsolete, but kind of, that's what I mean. And she was saying that this is what I'm doing because probably because I was born and raised in Athens, not because of pure blood and shit. I'm not a pure blood. I am a part Romanian, for example. Of course not, but you get what I mean, right? There's not such a thing as pure blood. That's bullshit, okay? But yeah, anyways.
Agelaus carried the boy to his own farm in a leather bag, in Greek known as a pera, thus in some accounts giving rise to the boy's name.
Yeah, his accent is very wrong here. I appreciate you tried. It's parion, pare. It's not pari or whatever. It's pare, parion. Okay?
Paris. Paris grew to be strong.
And also, if he wants to change it, he says Paris, Paris. No, it's not Paris, it's Paris. You make it less breathy, pretty much. Like, not Paris, it's Paris. Pretty straightforward. Paris, 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 not Paris, Paris, Paris. You get what I mean? So try to eliminate the breathy sound that you guys do, English speakers. That's like a microphone, pretty much. Paris. Like in Greece, you have very straightforward vocals. So in everything you say, don't pronounce everything exaggerated. Not a T, not a P, anything. Like in Greek, you won't say table. You say table, table. You get what I mean? It's very straightforward. Very. You don't have any breathy sounds in Greek. Okay.
Beautiful. And after once repelling bandits from the farm, he was given the surname Alexander, from Alexor, to defend, and Andros, of man.
Yeah, I got that. Alexandros, it's a name in Greek. It means did he translate it? I don't even have to do
and
that.
After once repelling bandits from the farm, he was given the surname Alexander, from Alexor, to defend, and Andros, of man.
Exactly. He is defending a man, or he is defensive of man. In my school, they had given me many translations why he has this. Not a surname, that's wrong there. That's not a surname, that's an epithet. That's a way to distinguish him. For example, Odysseus' epithet is Theos, divine Odysseus, because he was guided by goddess Athena. So the heroes have epithets. And the gods have epithets. Didn't Sarah say that Hecate has epithets and Nyx has epithets and children and shit? In Greek language we didn't have epithets. Epithets is something very Western European. So that's not something we had. Like we had only our names and epithets pretty much. So Athena, for example, the goddess, she was Γλαυκομάτα Athena, and she was also called Gali Athena. She had blue eyes, Athena the blue-eyed. That's how she was named. So this is how we were in Greece. So if I were an ancient Greek, my name would be Helga, definitely, obviously. And so Zay, you think I am Snow White, so you would call me Helga the Snow White. That would be my name. That I wouldn't have like something like the Native Americans, like something that is exactly you, that distinguishes you from somebody else who might have the same name with you. So that is Helga the Snow White, and this is Helga the Blonde, for example. You get what I mean? So that's how you distinguish the Greeks. They have epithets. It's not a surname. We didn't have surnames like Helga, Vayu, and so on, and Gao and shit. And you get what I mean? Pace, whatever. No, you don't. You don't operate like that. You have the epithet that distinguishes you from somebody else. That's how, like a Native American context. Like think it like that. They have like specific attributes that have to do with you. Like he was dancing with the wolves. That's a name. That's an attribute that this person has, right?
Alexor, to defend, and Andros, of man.
Andros, Alexo,
Alexander,
very good accent. I have to say that.
defender of men. In the Excidium Troiae, a compilation of ancient sources on the Trojan epic,
Yeah.
it is said that Paris used to watch the bulls on Agelaus' farm fight each other, and would crown the winning bull with a garland. One day a strange bull arrived at the farm and defeated the others. Acknowledging the new bull's victory, Paris placed the garland on its head.
Mm-hmm.
The bull then revealed itself to be the god of war, Ares,
Mm-hmm.
and Paris thereafter became known for his fair judgment.
Yep.
Soon after, across the sea on Mount Pelion, King Peleus was celebrating his marriage to the nymph goddess Thetis. Incidentally, these are the parents of Achilles,
Yeah.
but that is a later story. All the gods were invited to this wedding, but Zeus, as part of his plan with Themis, had intentionally left out the goddess of discord, Eris, from the celebrations.
Yep.
Predictably angry, Eris acted the only way she knew how, by attempting to create strife at the otherwise happy affair. throwing into the wedding a golden apple from the magical garden of the Hesperides, with the words Calistei to the most beautiful inscribed upon.
Την καλίστη. That's not a good accent. I'm not bashing the creator. He's doing an amazing job, as I said, but not there entirely. But your Greek is very good, and keep up the good work. But yeah.
By attempting to create strife at the otherwise happy affair. Throwing into the wedding a golden apple from the magical garden of the Hesperides, with the words
Hesperides.
Calistei to the most beautiful inscribed
How
upon
did he
it,
say it?
attempting to create strife at the otherwise happy
Hesperides,
affair.
it's the name. It's like
Throwing into the wedding a
oranges and
golden
shit.
apple from the magical garden of the Hesperides,
Yep.
with the words Calistei to the most beautiful.
Τι καλίστη. Τι καλίστη. The best one. The best female one. Τι καλίστη, that's Callisti is the best like Callistos is the best male guy. Callisti, because it has E, I spoke about this letter, that means the female best woman, right? So that means the Callisti, like the most beautiful woman, pretty much. Like, if you ask me how do you perceive this verb, this adjective, sorry, probably the most beautiful, I would say. Like, as a native, I would say that if you ask who is the Callisti, the most beautiful woman, right? That's what it means, like the best in that term. Like, if it said, there is another one, if it said to kratisto, that would be written as, will show you, it would have still the same, fuck this, okay, it would have this the same, that's, fuck, this mark here and here, these dots, these are called υπογεγραμμένοι, like signing underneath, that's the translation. So it will have still that, but I will show you because I don't have the keyboard to do that. I will show you. It's to kratistó. Okay, so that's how it would be written. The other one I'm gonna explain. So under the omega, it would be this υπογεγραμμένοι. So υπογεγραμμένοι here, and then you will have this dash on top. Okay, this dash is an accent. It's the accent you put when the vowel is long term. Didn't I speak about long term before? So you would put that as well. So it would be to kratisto. That's classical ancient Greek, obviously, yeah. That I know. So that means the best again, but that best male person. This doesn't mean Callisti, like that's not the equivalent in male. That is the most beautiful in my understanding. This is the best in terms of strength and like masculine power. It's not the most beautiful man. That's the most beautiful woman. That's the best strengthened man. So it's the same word. It's the same adjective. It originates from the same source, pretty much. Yeah, the best. It's good and good. That's female beauty, and that's masculine, and it's strength. Okay. So when Alexander the Great died, he said and to kratisto, to the best, and he meant not the most beautiful ruler, the best in terms of strength, and he said and to kratisto. Okay.
Inscribed upon it. Eris knew that the goddesses Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite would argue over it.
So it's the goddess of beauty, the goddess of marriage. That the goddess of marriage is Hera, the goddess of beauty is Aphrodite, and the goddess of wisdom, which is Athena. Athena is the daughter of Zeus, Aphrodite is a Titaness, and Hera is the wife of Zeus. Okay.
Come to a resolution. Zeus diplomatically.
No, Athena is not the daughter of Hera. She was the daughter of Themis, the Titaness of Justice, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to remember. She was born from the head of Zeus, yeah, like a seahorse, pretty much. He gave birth to her from his brain, pretty much. That's how she was born, with her full armor for war, because she's also the goddess of war, like Ares. She's also the goddess of war and wisdom. So yeah.
Beautiful
But
inscribed
you have to know something here that Ares is not the favorite child of Zeus. Athena is his favorite child. He hates Ares. He has Oedipal complex with her. He loves her very much, and Ares is his most hated son. He says that in Iliad. He says, "I hate you from all my sons. I hate you the most because you love war." And I was upset with this story, and I told my dad once that I hate it, and he said that he's not like that with us. He loves us regardless, and he doesn't see us in this way, and I shouldn't worry about the story, and I should forget it. That's what he had said.
by attempting to create strife at the otherwise happy affair. Throwing into the wedding a golden apple from the magical garden of the Hesperides, with the words Calistei, to the most beautiful, inscribed upon it, Eris knew that the goddesses Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite would argue over it. Unable to come to a resolution, Zeus diplomatically and very conveniently stepped in and said that there was a man on a farm on Mount Ida named Paris, famed for his good judgment. He should decide which goddess deserved the apple. And so Hermes transported the gods and goddesses right to where Paris happened to be. Each goddess then offered their pitches to Paris, explaining why they should take the apple. Hera offered him great riches and kingship over all of Asia. Athena offered him endless victory in battle and wisdom over all. But Aphrodite offered him the most beautiful woman in the world.
Exactly.
And some accounts say she even offered Helen herself by name.
Yeah, that's
Paris
the one.
could not resist, and he gave Aphrodite the apple. And in so doing, he triggered the subsequent chain of events which would bring about the downfall of Troy. When Paris reached Sparta, Helen could not resist him, and by the time Agamemnon's forces finally took Priam city, Hecuba's dream proved true. Paris was the firebrand that burnt Troy to the ground, leaving so many heroes dead, and the will of Zeus had come to pass.
Zeus wanted to punish people pretty much. I agree with that, and we actually finished the battle here at the same time with the video, because he wanted to not have anybody overthrow him. He's pretty much obsessed with this in the Iliad. We can discuss this tomorrow. This video will get very big at this point. And yeah, that's actually a trope that we discuss in the Iliad. He threatens everybody, even other gods in the Iliad, that he doesn't want to be overthrown, and that's because the trope is pretty much there from the beginning, that if he has overthrown Cronus, he will be overthrown by Paris, and so on. That's how it goes. That's the understanding of paganism, because it's the circle of life pretty much. So what I'm saying here is that with all that we discussed is that his will came to pass, but as you can see, we have a trope of a woman bringing about the downfall of an entire city. The trope that the goddess Aphrodite, the goddess of love, who spoke about the woman, came into existence and brought destruction, is the trope that love, erotic love, should never be celebrated, because it brings the downfall of the humankind. You should be celibate, because Zeus is a celibate deity. He's eternal, he's not married exactly, and the story, the outcome of the Iliad is that you should never marry, because marriage, because romance, because loving someone is lust, it's bodily desires, and you should never approach them, because if you do, you can actually burn a city. That's the meaning of the Iliad, the spiritual meaning of the Iliad. That's why I wrote my dissertation about why Yahweh doesn't ban erotic love, why Christians ban erotic love, why pagans think that it is part of their culture. It's actually not. It's because the Christians don't have it. Somebody has to have it. That's balance in the spirit field, pretty much. If you don't have something, somebody else is gonna claim it, right? So the pagans say it is ours. No, it's not theirs. It's not theirs. It's actually a very much biblical trope to love your husband and wanna make love to them and shit, and marry somebody because you love them, and celebrating intimacy, and wanting to see them naked and so on. That's biblical. And if that sounds crazy, just open Ezekiel, just open Jeremiah, just open Song of Songs. That's everywhere in the Bible. That's nowhere to be seen in the epics, because the stories of Zeus are not meant to celebrate erotic love. That's why I said in my dissertation, don't mistake the erotic stuff between Hera and Zeus as a, like, I don't know, like a passage for you to do the same with your spouse. It doesn't say anything like that. Just because Zeus does something, that doesn't mean you should do it. Because if you believe, okay, Zeus loves Hera, I can love my wife, then at the same manner you can say that just because Zeus throws people in hell, you can also throw people in hell. Can you say that? No. That's not the trope there. The trope is not because a God can do something, you can do it. That's biblical understanding. If God is holy, you should be holy. That's biblical. That's not pagan. In paganism, you are expected to be an eunuch, you are expected to be celibate, you are expected castrated. He was castrated. That's another indication that you should never celebrate erotic love. He was castrated, he was removed by a bodily part, and the God has a body part that resembles a human part. So it says you should be celibate like your God is celibate. You get what I mean? So what it says there is never ever lust over a woman, because she can bring the destruction of an entire city. That's the trope of the story. Hope you understood that. That's what I mean. That's why I wrote the dissertation, and that's why I said that the trope of an eternal God, is actually Zeus. It's not Yahweh. That's why it is important to say, is Yahweh married with a Jerusalem? Yes, because if he's married with a Jerusalem, then because he is holy, I can also marry a guy named Ze. If you can't say that, that means that there's something wrong with the understanding of Christianity. If you say no, that's actually wrong, that's what I mean. That means that you are indoctrinated paganly, because not marrying, being an eunuch, a god that is not married with anybody, that's pagan understanding. That comes from mysticism, that comes from the epics, that comes from philosophy. And if you say, I lust a woman, as you wrote in your article, and you understand this like that, then this means that your understanding of Yahweh is that he's not married with a Jerusalem, so you think you should be celibate yourself, so you believe actually in the Antichrist God, like you believe in the beast, you don't believe in Yahweh. Somebody has indoctrinated you paganly and not biblically, you get what I mean? That's why I wrote the dissertation, that's why I gave the feministic aspect of it, because through that you can understand why it is so important to differentiate between the deities. I couldn't say just like Yahweh is Yahweh, Jesus is Jesus, Zeus is Zeus, alligator, crocodile, and full stop. No, I have to give you a reason to see why this is important, because it affects your daily life. The way you see God affects how you see yourself in the mirror. If you think your God is celibate, you're gonna think that you are celibate as well. You're expected to be celibate because you think that your God is celibate. If you think that your father is romantic, like God is romantic, then you are gonna be like, okay, I have romantic aspects in my personality, I'm gonna keep them because that's what God does as well. You get what I mean? So if you are like, okay, so if Yahweh is romantic, then why Christians are saying that he's not romantic? You are dealing with the Antichrist there. That's why my dissertation is important. That's why I said in the beginning it's the best thing that I have ever written. You get what I mean? Thank you for watching. That video is insanely big. It's as big as Zeus cock. Anyways, hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.